Hello, my name is George Pintai. I am the owner of the Comic Crypt. We are a vintage collectible dealer available on eBay. I've been in the comic business for 30 years. I'm a member of the CGC board since 2003, and I've been submitting to CGC since they opened in 1999. I'm also one of the promoters of EliteCon, and I'm here to answer some of your questions today about what the show is, what we strive to be, and the niche that we're trying to fill for serious collectors out there. Our tagline is that we are a premium collectibles marketplace for advanced collectors. And we showcase a variety of items, everything from vintage comics from the Golden to Copper Age, high end toys, graded, ungraded, action figures, retired Lego sets, pops, Grail pops, and a variety of other items, including original artwork. So we're a bit of a crossover show that deals with a wide variety of pop culture material, and higher end pop culture material that you may not necessarily find at your standard local venue or standard local show. So that is the essence of what we are, and my friend Robert Cooper here is going to ask me some questions, some of the questions that we've been getting online to kind of further differentiate what our show experience is going to be relative to what you might normally expect from a local Comic Con or even a large Comic Con. And hopefully we can have your questions answered, and we'll go from there.
Hey everybody, this is Robert again from M Collectibles here in Brooksville, and I'm going to throw some questions out to George, try to get you drilled down on some more information about the show. I know we've been giving you a lot of videos and photos and information, but there's a lot more to tell you about. So what I do want to know, George, is what exactly can I expect to see at the show in terms of merchandising?
Well, it's a great question, and I think what we're striving to do is whether you're a collector who is in that $50 to $100 price range, whether it's comics or toys, pops, or all the way up to $50,000, we are looking to bring a wide variety of material from, again, vintage comics, graded, ungraded, all the way back to the copper, golden age to the copper. We'll have some modern age stuff as well, retired Lego sets, original artwork. We have that art to the cover to Thor 201 there, and that's a kind of an example of some of the items we're going to have available. We have some wonderful vintage comics here, including a Starling 49, a Superman 14, Hulk 181. I'm sure most everyone will be able to identify. High-end action figures. We have some vintage Star Wars figures here, AFA graded, very high grades, very hard to find. Some Grail pops in the front. I'm sure some of you pop collectors will recognize them immediately. Vintage Lego sets, some graded, most sealed, but almost all retired and hard to find at this point. Statues. We're going to have a very wide range of material. Action figures, toys. Again, but it's not stuff that you're going to find in dollar bins, in kind of bargain bins. These are collectible items, generally speaking, in the $50 price range and above. The stuff that's harder to find, the stuff that you just can't track down easily, and we're focusing on that type of material for the show.
Thank you, George. Now, I'm also wondering, we've heard a little bit now about what EliteCon is. Perhaps you can tell me a little bit more about what EliteCon is not.
Well, EliteCon is not your typical comic show. We're targeting that audience of serious collectors who are looking for this type of material. We're a show exclusively about high-end collectibles. We're not about cosplay. We're not about artists. We're not about any one of the normal sort of vendors that you'd find at these shows, the fragrance peddlers and the graphic art colleges that are looking to sign you up for their tuition and all that. We're not about artists. We're not about media guests. We're about high-end materials, and that's it. That's exclusively it. So we're a marketplace, and we're trying to differentiate ourselves from those other venues simply because of the quality of the material you will find in the room, and you will be able to buy and sell in the room.
Well, on that note, then, can you tell me what some of the advantages are to going to a smaller show like EliteCon versus, say, one of the larger, let's call them mega shows that are out there and promoted all over the country?
Well, we have a number of shows here in Florida, three in particular that are big. They draw huge crowds, and they're fantastic shows. They give the crowds a wide array of material, including some high-end material to purchase as well. but they also, as most people have known, they come with their own kind of disadvantages. They have crowds, they have parking costs, they have the long walk times, they have the wait times online, they have the wonderful stale concessions and overpriced that you get to purchase. So they are an experience in and of themselves. But if you are a collector who goes to those shows, who's looking for material like this, you know you have to put up with some other kind of side effects or some other things to kind of find the material that you're looking for. You're going to have to muscle your way through crowds. You just have to kind of deal with a lot just to get to the material that you're looking to find. So that's our primary benefit is we're a targeted show. We're targeting those collectors of this type of material exclusively, and that's who we're trying to cater to.
Thank you for that, George. Now, we've covered this a little bit before, but I definitely want to keep going over it so everybody is fully aware. Can you tell us a little bit more about the registration options that I have as an attendee at EliteCon?
Sure. Well, we have 3 registration levels. A silver, which is essentially a buyer's pass. It gets you in the door. You have the ability to go around to our dealers and even go to our other attendees who are vending themselves at our central vending area and purchase items. Again, you're basically paying to get in the show and get a feel for what's available, find hopefully the material that you're looking for, and it's a buyer's pass. We then have the gold package, which is a step up. That gets you in the door as well, but it also gives the ability to vend within our central vending area. What that is basically is it's a unique feature to EliteCon. We're giving the attendees the ability to bring up to 2 medium-sized boxes, let's say 2 comic short boxes, 2 small toy cases of material to bring in and sell, whether it's to other vendors or to other attendees. It's kind of like if you aren't ready to liquidate your collection and you don't have a need for an entire 10-foot booth, but you have some extra stuff that you've built up over the years, some stuff that's maybe fallen out of your collecting interest, or stuff that you kind of bought on the cheap and you realize it's gone up in price and you now have the opportunity to flip and sell. Well, bring it to EliteCon. We'll have dealers there. We'll have attendees there who are going to want to buy it. So, sell your material there. You could pay for the cost of getting in, and then have some money left over to spend on some other high-quality items in the room. And then we have our Platinum Pass. And the Platinum Pass is the Gold Pass, plus it also gives you the ability to come in an hour early, so you get first pick of everything in the room. By the way, the Gold and Platinum Passes also come with our exclusive EliteCon t-shirt. It's kind of a unique item that hails from the tradition of the Central Florida Comic Swap Meet, which EliteCon kind of grew out of. And it's one of those unique items that a lot of people who've done the comic swap meet have worn around the country. It's a great little kind of throw in there for either the gold and or the platinum members. And shirts will be available for purchase as well for all attendees.
2 other questions I've got along those same lines. One we've been asked several times by people: will children be allowed into the show, and what is the cost for the children's passes?
Children 6 and under are free to get in, and but as we will emphasize to everyone out there, this is a show for high-end collectors and high-end collectibles. We ask anyone who does bring children to the show, just be mindful you are responsible for them, and there's going to be a lot of expensive, high-priced items around. Grabby fingers will abound with smaller kids, so if you're a parent of smaller children, I don't have to tell you. I would recommend, if at all possible, because we don't have the cosplay, we don't have a lot of the things that really kind of draw and attract the kids' attention. If at all possible, make it a day out if you're a serious collector on your own. Maybe bring your wife, find a babysitter for the kids if at all possible. They're certainly welcome. Can't say we're going to have a whole lot for them to do, though.
And I have one final question for you, George, which is probably the most important question. Can I walk up to EliteCon the day of the show and get entry if I don't already have my pass?
Well, right now our emphasis has been entirely on making sure that everyone pre-registers for the show. This is a show, again, focusing on a number of high-end collectibles, and it's a smaller venue. We want to make sure that the people who purchase their passes get in and are not overwhelmed by crowds, are not overwhelmed by a lot of bodies in the door. So we actually have a cutoff point, and we're hoping we fill that cutoff point in the next couple of weeks, well before the show. and we hope you certainly take the time and opportunity to purchase your passes online at EliteConFlorida.com. Again, silver, gold, or platinum. And we think that ideally it's a show that I think kind of sells itself if you're a serious collector, because it's catering to you. One other thing I did not mention is, regardless of whether you're a silver, gold, or platinum level attendee, we're sending out a buyer survey several weeks before the show. This buyer survey is, again, unique to our show in that we're basically asking you, what do you collect? What are you looking for? And we're going to take that information. We're not going to give out any personal information, but we're going to collate that, aggregate it, and send it to our dealers so that they know, the attendees of the show, what they're looking for, what their kind of price points are, what items specifically will give you the ability to say, hey, I am specifically looking for this item in this condition and this price point. We'll pass that along to our dealers. If they have it, they'll bring it. It's, again, one more kind of emphasis on, if you're a serious collector, these are not things that have really been done in your favor at the larger shows. So we're focusing in on those sort of unique traits to make this a better experience for you. And hopefully, as EliteCon grows into the future, you're also going to have the ability to network, because everyone in the room is another serious collector. Whether they necessarily collect what you collect, there are people who spend, again, $50, $100, $500, $1,000 on high quality items. And you're going to have the ability to network with those people just like you do now, through social media, through your online message boards. You'll get to physically meet them. You'll get to see what they have. And because this is a crossover show that has a kind of a breadth of toys and action figures and comics and pops that most shows don't, you might actually get to kind of delve into areas of collecting pop culture material that you've never really been all that interested in. I think Robert will tell you, since the two of us met, I bought a lot more toys than I ever had before, and he's bought a lot more comics than he ever cared to. And it's just one of those things when you get into this new field, a new interest of the hobby, you tend to kind of maybe initially find some interest that maybe you've kind of lagged behind in your old hobby. And so maybe you'll find something that catches your eye that you thought, hey, I would never have bought this online. I wouldn't even never thought to have looked for it. But you'll find it at the show. It'll be there, and maybe it'll start you down a different road of collecting as well.
Well, George, I want to thank you very much for all that information. That's extremely helpful. I also want to remind everybody that EliteCon is coming soon. It is March 12th, 2017 at the Embassy Suites on the USF campus.
Well, that's it for me. We hope to see you there. Again, come visit us at EliteConFlorida.com and purchase your badges. Feel free to contact us on Facebook if you have any questions. We do have a couple of booths left for vendors if you want to vend. We'll look forward to seeing you at the Embassy Suites on March 12th.